This is Evans, man. Welcome to the Risk Taker Podcast. I'm your host, man. I hope everybody has a wonderful week or wonderful weekend, man. Man, I have my brother here, man, on the podcast with me, man. I have Neb on the podcast with me, man. How you feeling, my brother?
Doing good, Evans. I appreciate you having me. Um, I'm excited to inspire and motivate the next generation or anybody that's looking to take the plunge.
Before we get started, man, tell the audience, man, a little bit about yourself, man. Where you come from, and we could go from there.
Yeah, so my name is Neb Aynu. I'm the founder owner of Kingdom Bonding. We are one of the few minority-owned bonding only agencies in the country. A little bit background about me. I'm an immigrant, so I'm Ethiopian. Came to America when I was 7 years old. I just saw the power of what money can do. So I wasn't raised in a rich household, if you want to say. I had enough, but I saw what the power of money can do, and I think that's where I really woke up to entrepreneurship and all that good stuff. And yeah, man, and ran in college. That taught me a lot about winning and losing and all that good stuff. And been doing bonding for 8 years now. I started Kingdom in 2023.
Nice, man. Nice, man. How was, let me ask you, because you say you're immigrant, man, because I could relate. I could relate because I'm not from this country. I came here
Mhm.
when I was about 12 years old. Uh, how was was it a culture shock for you when you came? Like, what was the thing? Like, 'cause if you never experienced America and you come into this country, how was it? How was the experience for you for 7 years old?
It was it wasn't much of a culture shock because it was different. So for me, we had a lot of money in Ethiopia, right? And then we lost it all. So I saw like what it was like to have money, right? And
Mhm.
then uh things ended up happening and the business went upside down. So we started from scratch here in America. So that was a shock to me. And but the main difference that I saw uh not back then, but now it's the opportunity that America gives, right? It's that's the major culture shock that I saw was just you can come into this country and just become a millionaire within 2 years. You know,
True, true.
if you put in the right work and the right people in place. There's no other country that you can really do that in, especially in my country.
How was it growing? Like, how was it growing up? Like, how was it for you? You didn't speak the language. Like, how did you adapt? Um, what was some lesson that you learned growing up? And let's go from there.
So how I adapted, really, um, I took ESL. I remember that the English
I did
second
too.
language.
I did too.
Yeah, and the thing is, I grew up with a huge stutter. So I was taking speech classes and I was doing ESL back in elementary school. So that was pretty funny. I had to adapt of how to speak. But English is my first language, and really, it's really the only language I really speak. Yeah, that's pretty.
Wow.
So the reason why is because we moved at a time where I was finally opening up my mouth, or because I was a late bloomer of how to for speaking wise.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm the only person in my family that like speaks English.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like with my mom, it's just like uh, she speaks Amharic to me, which is our native tongue,
Hmm.
and I'll reply back in English, so I can listen to it. But me
Wow.
speaking it, I can speak it for like emergency situations here and there. I know the words, but it's gonna be uh, a comedy show if I'm actually like trying to speak it.
Wow. Wow, man. Uh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Where was? Let me ask you, when did you start to dream? Like, because you saw your parents have a business, so you always have that entrepreneurial mindset. Did you always have that? Because you see your parents had business, had money. Like, did you always have that, like, in you growing up?
Oh no, honestly, when I was a kid, I wanted to be. I was so fascinated with airplanes. I wanted to be a air traffic controller, and
Okay.
I wanted to work in the airport. And I was obsessed with like Lion King. Like, had no type of business mindset when I was a kid. Business was not in my blood or I was kind of put into the situation I'm in.
Okay.
It's not something I strive to be in. But I always had a drive to be different. And I think where it really came into play is when I started running.
All right, risk takers, quick break before we dive back in. If you've been building, grinding, and betting on yourself, it's time your wardrobe matched your mindset. Owig apparel isn't just clothing, it's a statement. From the bold risk taker hoodies to the signature dream chasers tees, every piece is designed to remind you why you started. Shop now at owigapparel.com because when you walk in purpose, your clothes should speak before you do. Back to the episode.
um, in high school. So I was terrible at school, by the way.
Hey, I was a
Yeah.
C student, so
No, no, I was like worse than that. Hey, listen. Hey, nah. So I graduated high school with a 1.8 GPA.
okay.
Okay. Uh, I hated school, and there was many factors that got to that limit because I didn't really grow up in a very safe household. So that I think that played a factor in it. And I just I just hated like schoolwork. I hated doing things that didn't like have a result or I didn't grow from.
Hmm.
But I found running at a proper time in my life. And how I found running was I actually wanted to be a basketball player. I was obsessed with Kobe. Like I have a picture with Kobe right here when I was 13. And in
Nice.
seventh grade, I tried out for the basketball team because it's the first year I can do it. I got cut the first round. I did it again in eighth grade. I got cut the first round. So I was like, yeah, basketball is not it for me. So me and one of my friends, or my friend Ian, back in the day, freshman year of high school, we saw everybody running. And we're like, oh, what are they doing after school? And it was the track team. And they were like, yeah, everybody's there. Let's just go like walk and like, jog and like talk to girls, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and we started running, and there was a coach there. I think his name Coach Newman, and I noticed that I had ability over others. I had a skill for running because Ethiopians, if you know, we have our bodies are built for running, for our lungs and our bone, how we're made up. And I noticed I was like, man, I was wearing my Jordans 23s, black and red, on the track, basketball shorts. And I was just like whooping everybody. I was like, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this. And that's when like I didn't take, and then I kind of like, BS'd from like 10th and 11th grade. And the summer before my senior year, I got into trouble. Not trouble, but I was grounded that summer because I was just being a kid. And my mom was like, you can only do running, and that's the only thing you can do, like back home, back and forth. Thank God that happened, and that's why I took running seriously because like I didn't have anything else to do.
Yep.
Uh, and running became an outlet for me to let go of all the emotion that I was going through. It became an outlet for me to just be free, and that's what it did in the beginning. And then when I took it seriously, the summer of my senior year, I dropped like I think I was doing like 2030, and then I got down to like a 1704, and I made it to states, and I was third in the region. And I was like,
Nice,
wow,
man.
like, and I was the top runner on my team, uh, and that's when I was like, oh, I have ability here, and shout out Coach Huggins, real one. He put me on. So he emailed all college coaches for me. And the headliner was, I have a Ethiopian here. So he put me on. He put me on with some colleges, but I had a tough time getting into the college because of my GPA.
Yeah, got you.
So I ended up going to a school called Limestone College in South Carolina, a D2 school. Ended up walking on. I redshirted my freshman year. Ran terrible. I ain't gonna lie to you. Those 2 years at Limestone was not good, and so I need to get out of here. And that's when I went to UNC Pembroke. University of uh, uh, North Carolina at Pembroke, and that's where I found my team, and I ran super well, conference champions, and that's when when I was going through those running things, I was like, man, if I put in a result, I can get something.
Yep.
If I lose, uh, I don't like losing, so that's where I learned adversity, teamwork, putting in months of work, delayed gratification. That's where the entrepreneurship was born out of me, was through running. And, obviously and it was a mixture of, I got the skills there, but then also, when we lost everything, we I saw my mom struggle, not struggle, but you knew like money was tight, you know what I'm saying? Like you would go to like the grocery store and you'd be like, I can't get that because we might tip the balance, or you know it's just the little things that I saw, and I was like, man, I do not want this life.
Yep. Yep.
I don't want this life, and that's when I figured it out. And I was just like, yeah, like I got to do something different, and that's how I got into the into bonding. Really, I got into bonding because I didn't know what bonding was. I didn't know construction. I had no construction relationships. I did not have any insurance relationships. My family didn't, like, at all. It was just by just working with a recruiter named Peter Two. Shout out Peter Two. Uh,
Shout out to
and-
Peter.
yeah, shout out Peter. And was working at the gym at the time. So when I graduated college, I was supposed to be in IT. I graduated with a business degree. My mom was like, "Hey, you should like go and be in IT, be a software tester, do like an IT course." And it's great money because you just like you just take these courses and you get a job because you have the skill. And it was a great plan. And that's the reason why I moved to DC, because I grew up in North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina. And yeah, I took the course here. I packed up everything in my 96 Toyota Corolla called, her name was Baby Rolla, plastic black rims. She shaked anything over 80 miles, like 80 miles per hour was her max speed. Manual windows, cassette player, and I'll never forget. I took that car up here, and that I took the course for 3 months, and I hated it. I was like, I do not want to do this. I just hated like being in a box and doing
Yep.
work, and uh, I was like, Mom, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna hate my life. But you want to do things to make your parents
Parents,
proud, right?
parents, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So
You see
yeah,
that, you see that, especially, I think you see that a lot. You see that like in immigrants' parents, so they want you to become a doctor or a lawyer, like an
yeah,
IT person, and not knowing that you have dreams, you have stuff that's inside of you that's for you, and I could tell you as being a parent now, like because I have two little ones as being a parent now, like I ask my kids, like my son, like I ask him, like what do you when you grow up? Like I just asked him, like when you grow up, like what you want to be, what you want to be. He was like, I want to be a gamer. No, if you want to be a gamer, that's what we're gonna invest in. No, I don't want myself to be a, like I don't want my the dream that I have for my son for him to chase after that dream or chase after that purpose. He have to chase after his own purpose, after his own dream. Same as for my daughter. So I could that one that you say I could
100%,
understand. No, I could definitely.
100%. So it's like, yeah, it's you kind of just want to let that immigrant thing because you know how much they sacrificed, right? So you
Yep.
want to make you want to give back to them by making them proud because African parents are very proud, by the way. Their kids are like sometimes it can become unhealthy, but that's what I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it doing that because
Mhm.
I didn't want to be in a box. I hated being in a table all the time, and I was like, I'm just gonna figure this out. And that's when I started working at the gym, 24-hour fitness, and shout
Yeah,
out 24-hour fitness.
I saw your post. I was like, when I saw your
Yeah,
post about that, man, and like I was like, man, I gotta talk to you. Like that story, man. Please tell that story. Like
yeah.
this is the risk
Shout
that
out 24
this is
hour
the risk that you
fitness.
take. This is the risk.
Yeah,
This
so
go ahead.
yeah, I was working at the front desk, making $8.38 an hour, working part time. But I liked what I did because I got to like interact with people at the front desk. But you know, when people would come in after work to work out, I would see how they were dressed, and if they were dressed fresh, I would see their name pop up on the screen when they do their check-in.
Mhm.
When I see the name, I would uh, uh, Google them. I would look them up on LinkedIn to see what they would do. And back then, I wanted to work for a staffing agency called Aerotech, which is they help people find jobs, and that's what I was like so stuck on doing for graduation was to work for uh, uh, a staffing company because I wanted to help people find jobs and I saw the income potential. So I applied for the Raleigh Durham office. I got declined there. I applied for the Fairfax, Virginia office, got declined there. Applied for Arlington, Virginia office, got declined there. Applied
Wow.
for the Rockville and Columbia, Maryland offices, I believe, got declined. And I'm just like, bro, I cannot get in this firm. It's like, bro,
Man.
and then I was just like, I'm going to make it into. I'm really glad I didn't make it into. But that's when Peter 2 came into the story. So Peter was at 24-hour fitness. He would work out there, and he would dress fresh every time he come in. And I was like, oh, he's a manager. Or I think he was in the Fairfax office at Aerotech. And one day I was working out, and me and Peter already like know each other now. And he's like, he commented on my jogger pants, and he was like, cool jogger pants, man. I was like, yeah, man. Uh, we're out here, whatever. And then he was like, and then I was like, what do you do?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah, and then even though I already knew it, he was like, I work for Aerotech. It's like, man, I'm trying to get in there, bro. And he was like, dude, you would be perfect for this role. He was like, have you applied? I was like, yeah, I have. And I told him. And he was like, that's crazy how they're not taking you. He was like, I'm going to talk to my director in the Fairfax office, and I'm going to get you in through my um, uh, referral, like an
Yep.
in-house referral, right? Which is even better. So he did that. Ended up making it to like the third or fourth round once again. And their regional recruiter did not like me. She was a lady out of Jersey, and she just did not want to let me in. And she um, said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got in the dumps, bro. I was just like, man, I don't know what to do. And that was like 12, almost like 10 months after graduation. That was like around like April. And it's like, I vividly remember telling my sister, and I was like, I'm going to be nothing. Like, I'm going to work at
Wow.
McDonald's. I swear to God. And it was just like, I was just like, I'm a failure, bro. And I was
Is
like,
it because that you didn't because you tried so many times,
I
right? You
couldn't
tried so
find a
many times you
job.
didn't get in.
That's like I was getting rejected.
Have you ever felt like you're building something with no blueprint? Just hustle, faith, and late nights holding it all together? Then this book is for you. Building from scratch, from hustle to strategy. How to build, scale, and succeed in business isn't just a book. It's a playbook. Written by the dynamic duo behind this very podcast. It's packed with the real lessons, mindset shifts, and step-by-step game plans they use to build from absolutely nothing. If you're stuck in hustle mode, but ready for strategy, this book meets you right there. Grab your copy now at the Dynamic Duos speaks.com, because your next level requires a new strategy.
And this is like the 18th rejection, and Peter was like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you find a job." I think the breaking point was Peter helped me find a job with another insurance brokerage firm in Leesburg to do like commercial insurance, and the guy 2 days into the job, I was supposed to be contract to hire, says, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, bro, you just like, I quit my job, which was, I was working at a bank or something, doing like, oh my God, I hated that position. I was doing like, just like admin work. It was like for like flood insurance. And I just was looking at the flood insurance stuff, and I would just look at it. And then my manager would sit right next to me, and I'm not hating on anybody, but I would look to my left, and my manager was wearing like, those white New Balances that's like from the 80s, like high-waisted jeans, just, overweight. I'm just like, I do not want to be that. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I got to get out of here. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. I was like, I can't be that, like, so that's when I just like, I was like, never mind, but that's why I took that insurance position, and the guy ended up screwing me. And Peter was like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to help you find a job personally. And that's when he helped me find a job with a like surety only agency in Herndon, Virginia. And I was supposed to become their receptionist, or the person that just does the administrative work of their office. And they're like, hey, you want to learn how to produce instead of like doing stuff, because you have like running on your resume. I think you would be a great fit for this. And we just talked about like, I asked two questions, honestly. I didn't know anything about it. I said, how much money do you make and how much time does it take you to make it? And he told me, like, I make, you know, $1.75 and I work 20 hours a week. I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah,
And that's where it started. And there was two things. I was like, one, I wanted to make an impact on what I was doing, and then two, I wanted to control my own destiny. And that's why I got into it, and then I found a passion of helping others understand this stuff, because this stuff is like very important for you to grow your business.
Yep.
It's directly correlated to the profit center of a GC or a subcontractor. So
Yep. True.
I saw people become into multimillionaires by showing them how to scale and build their companies, because I've seen it. I know everything. And that I got a passion from doing and helping people. And then, yeah, right. And then, you know, the corporate structure, me and the corporate structure did not get along. I'm not gonna lie to say I wasn't rogue or anything, but I didn't like being controlled, and being told like, you know, like you're 2 minutes late, and you know, like, and things like that, or like, um, there's other key factors like, uh, it's, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but like my dad passed away, right? In 2020, from cancer. And it was I think they let me go out of the country for like a week or two, and they're like back to work. There was no like
So
reason or
basically,
healing.
you didn't like basically you say like you didn't like somebody tell you give you permission, like you want to make
Yeah, and then
your
it was
own.
just like there was no like empathy or anything. Like you're just like work. Like you cannot control it. And I ended up getting fired from my position, by the way, in 2023 out of nowhere, which really drove me up a wall, because that's all I knew, like, yo, like, this is war, bro. Like, these people do not care and do not like you. If you give them some type of, because I was never the person that uh that that would take any like lying, or if you gave me your word, or you would do something, you would do it, and I would never like kiss, right? And I was never the person that would like be okay with that stuff. And I was just a hard worker. Like I just put my head down at work. I didn't like smooch, and people didn't like that. And so yeah, that's what ended up happening. And it was a struggle to begin, but and I didn't have a choice but to begin Kingdom, by the way. Like,
There you go.
I didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people it's like, oh, I just wanted to, like, bro, I didn't have a choice. Like, you know,
You
like,
gotta make this work. You gotta make that's no
yeah,
plan B.
like,
It's
because
plan A.
I couldn't find a job again. It was like, it was a whole different thing again, because, you know, when you're leaving a place, you have, you know, non-competes and non-solicitation, so that they lock you in on that stuff. And then the other employer has to take the risk on that. And then on top of that, they want to pay you below what you're worth, because you're not bringing anything to the table. So you have to begin your worth again.
Yep.
And I just refuse to take a low cut and then build something for another man or woman for it to be taken away again. Yeah, and I was like, nah, I'd rather bleed, bro. I'd rather literally have blood come out of me before I work for another person again after that. that set on of like, I'm going to make this work from zero income to zero clients. And not like I put, like David Goggins, like I've read both of his books. That his book Never Finished really put the nail in the coffin for me. It was May 11th. I read it. I incorporated Kingdom May 13th. And announced it June 15th. It took me
That's
a month.
crazy.
It took me a month to set everything up, from the incorporation to the systems to the appointments. And then I'll never forget, because I had to put my place on Airbnb. I had to put my car on Turo, because I had bills. And the thing is, I just renewed my lease like 2 days before I got fired too, for a 12-month lease on my apartment. So it's like, bro, I couldn't get out the lease either. So I was like, bro, like, why would you do that? Why can't you just tell me like a month earlier so I didn't have to renew my lease? But so I ended up, when I did those two things, and when I really saw it was when I saw I can make money from Airbnb. I got my first bookings. I was like, oh, I can make money. That could float me. I was like, oh wow. And then putting my car on church. So I walked everywhere. I took the bus everywhere until I made income to generate, to take it off those platforms. And I moved in with my sister. And yeah, I didn't have a safety net, by the way. Like my mom is retired. So like I didn't have a house. Like she leases as well. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was no place for me to stay.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, man. So I was like, I gotta figure this shit out. If I don't, well, I got a place to like live.
Yeah.
So you have to be that bent on making it work, and I was that bent on making it work, and then I think there's a lot to do about faith that I have not spoken about. That
was my question. I was gonna ask you, man. Like through all this, man, have faith, because that's one of my mantra. Like that's one of my motto. Like yo, faith. Now through all this, man, like how is your faith, man? Like how is your faith? Like through all this, man. Like speak on that, man. Speak on that.
So I did not grow up in a religious household. We were never that family that went to church, or I was taught church principles. I was, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it was it was really God just moving on my life. And in 2019, January 2019 is when I committed my life to Jesus, and that's when I saw.
Man.
Yeah, and that's when I saw a huge transformation in my life. There's also some people believe in prophecy, but it was prophesied of me in 2017 that I would become, I would have so much wealth that I would fund churches around the country or the world. And everybody's looking at me in 2017. I was like, this kid that had a 1.8 GPA out of high school, 2.1 out of college, can't find a job. This kid's going to do that.
But they don't know what God has planned for you, man. They don't know what God has planned for you.
I didn't believe it either. And everybody was, all my fans looking at it like, not Neb. But, so I always held that dear. And then, God found a way to my heart, and since 2019, I've seen a transformation in my life each year by me committing my life more and more to Jesus, right? And really, everything I do is faith centered. Like everything I do is from the fear of God. I'm saying, I really don't care what people think. I care about what my Heavenly Father thinks about me, and that's why I do what I do. Period. That's why I do what I do. And when I wanted to begin something, I wanted it to have God in it, right? And what better name than kingdom,
I
right?
love it, man. I love
So
it.
the name kingdom is from Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be given to you. And if you read 34, it says, do not worry about tomorrow because today has enough of
Yes.
its own troubles. And then if you read before 33, it talks about, your faith. Like, do not worry about what you will eat and what you will drink,
Yep.
because I've taken care of the birds and the trees, and you see like they bloom, the birds are fed. They're not my children. You are. Do you not think I'm going to take care of you just how I've taken care of these trees?
Mm,
You of little faith.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm.
So that's like the verse for me, Matthew 6:33, and so I call it a kingdom for that reason. And then the line is, the line of Judah was Jesus,
Yep.
right? And people think Jesus is soft. Jesus is not soft. Jesus was the man of man. Like he's both, God and man. And I wanted this line to be a representation of what that means. And when people see the line, I want them to feel empowered and encouraged, and they can overcome trials, and they can, do things, through kingdom. And that's why the logo, I actually made the logo myself on Fiverr. But and then the logo is very powerful, and because there are people coming to me like, I just feel so connected to that lion, or and I think branding is very important in business.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when obviously I'm putting myself out there, there's a lot of people that don't like Jesus, people don't like Christians, or things like that, but I know God will uh, protect me from those people. And the other thing is, I'm going to attract like-minded individuals into my firm, and
That's it.
I'm going to attract people that have like-minded values. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a brand that was strong enough to attract the proper people into the firm. And that's what it's done, man. I truly think that's why I've grown, is because of the name and the brand, and the mission.
And
And
also to when you put God first, that's the thing. And we're gonna when you put God first, because I'm all up like that's my foundation. Even like my wife or business, God is the center of everything that we do. You know? And I don't care what room we are in, I'm gonna let you know that if I'm here, it's because of God. No, it's because of Him. If I'm in this room, if I'm in this podcast, it's because of Him. He gave me a second chance. No, so with that second chance, I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna bless other people with it, and people might not like it. Like you said, people might not like it, but that's okay. When Jesus was on this earth, people didn't like Him, but he was on a mission that He was preaching. That He was still doing great things. So faith is, I always tell people that with God, without God, you could be successful. No, you could be successful without God. But with God and something, man, it's sweet. I'm not saying you're not gonna have challenge, but it's sweet, man, because you know that you are you could lean on somebody, man. You could lean on God. Now you could lean on His scripture. Is the like that? I'm big on that, man. The foundation and everything that you do, man. You gotta create. God gotta be in it, man. God gotta be in it, man.
so
So I'm glad
100%.
that you mentioned that. No, let me ask you this now. Like, what advice would you give a person, an entrepreneur that's starting out now, that's on the edge right now, that's starting out, or a seasoned entrepreneur that want to take a big risk on their business, like what advice would you give them for the new person and for the seasoned entrepreneur?
Well, so the new person that just that's thinking about doing it.
Yeah, by doing it, by taking a risk on their business, bet on themselves, like you did. Like what one advice
Yeah,
would you
so
give
I
them?
mean, I think the thing is you have to take action. You got to stop talking. Just do it. There's so many people that just talk. Like, who cares about what you say? You know what I'm saying? You just got to do it. You don't. You'll never be prepared to do it. And the other thing is, don't wait for pain to change. A lot of people wait for, you know, something traumatic to happen or something very painful to happen for them to change. And I would just, I would do it before that time comes. And the thing is, and the other thing is like, all right, bro, like if this fails, what you gonna do? Just go,
You learn from
go
it.
find, just go find your job again. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your backup plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's the risk?
So you learn. I think it's you learn from it. Like if you fail at something, like you try something, it didn't work out. You learn from it. You could do it again, or like you said, you could find it. You could find a job. It's up to you. Now it's up to you. But like you say, the word is action. Now that's the big word. If you have an idea, a dream, anything that you wanna do in life, if you never take action, you never know if it worked. Never know. You never know, man.
Especially if somebody's um, younger that doesn't have responsibilities,
Yes.
like kids or
Yep.
a spouse.
Yep.
If you're single, you should be shooting. You should be
Yes.
shooting like a mug.
Yep. Very true.
100%. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true, man. My funny thing you said that my wife and I we was just having this conversation the other day. We was like for advice for young people who doesn't have no kids, no spouse, like you don't have no responsibility. Now is the time to chase after your purpose, chase after your dreams while you don't have this responsibility. Because when you do have this responsibility, yes, you could take on those risks, but now you gotta plan it. You gotta plan these things. But if you don't have no kids, you don't have no man, fail as many times as you can now. You learn from it, no, because when you have a family, it change things because you have to plan for it. But that doesn't mean that you don't take risks on your dreams, on your purpose. No, we're gonna leave it like this, man. We're gonna have a part two. We're gonna have to have a part two, man.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
man, because I'm loving this, man. Where can people find you, Neb, and where they could find you about your business? A person who's in the construction industry, where they could find you. Now, let the audience know where they could find you.
So, I'm huge on LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Neb Aynu, NEBAYNU. Kingdom Bonding has a page on LinkedIn as well. And my email is neb@kingdombonding.com. And kingdombonding.com is our website. And yeah, I do a newsletter bi-weekly on LinkedIn. And also if you're in my database, you can also get a link, you'll get a newsletter that's educational as well.
Nice, nice. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it, man. Man, thank you, Neb. Thank you very much for coming into the Risk Taker
Of
podcast,
course, man.
man. I appreciate it, man. Look, I'll see you guys in the next episode.